Hello, so this is a tutorial of the interactivity, evidence, and observations. So observing the solar system, humans have tried to explain how our solar system works and discover our planet's place in it for thousands of years. Some of these people include the philosopher Ptolemy and scientists Copernicus and Galileo. Ptolemy used his observations to support a geocentric model of our solar system. Later, Copernicus and Galileo used more precise measurements to support a heliocentric model. Let's explore Galileo's work and discover his evidence that the Earth revolves around the sun. Comparing the models. So number one says compare the geocentric model to the heliocentric model. What do you observe to be the biggest difference between the two? So this is the geocentric model, and you can see the Earth is in the center. And then this is the heliocentric model, and the sun is in the center. So Ptolemaic is the one scientist, and Copernican is the other scientist that made models of the solar system. So the difference between the two is that the planets are rotating around the sun versus the Earth. Galileo finds proof around Jupiter. When Galileo studied the solar system, most scientists accepted the theory that everything revolved around the Earth. Galileo used his own telescope to observe the night sky and recorded his observations, including Jupiter and its moons. His observations did not support the accepted theory. So these are the observational notes. 2 points around Jupiter, 3 points appear to have moved, cloudy evening, no visibility, and he just looked at Jupiter each night and recorded the points. So using Galileo's notes as a guide, describe what happens to the position of the stars, which is Jupiter's moons, as compared to the position of Jupiter. And so these were the illustrative notes that he showed that the stars would move. And it says, over time, the position of Jupiter's moons change while the position of Jupiter stays the same. The moons seem to move around Jupiter. So what did Galileo's observations prove? That the Earth cannot be the center of the solar system because it shows that, so Galileo's discovery of Jupiter's moons supported the heliocentric theory because it showed that objects can orbit around other planets and not just Earth. So if Earth was in the center, then all the objects would rotate only around the Earth. Because he could see that the moons were rotating around Jupiter, then that meant that the Earth was not the center of the universe. Galileo observed the movement of moons around Jupiter. We can observe the movement of our moon around Earth through its phases. Observe the phases of the moon, then answer the following questions. So you can see this one's the dark one. You can't see it. Then it goes to partly shaded on the one side, a full moon, and then partly shaded on the other side. So what changes do you observe in the moon over the course of 1 month? I observed that the moon goes from being dark to partly lit to fully lit, then back to partly lit on the opposite side. Galileo also observed Venus and gathered more evidence to support the heliocentric model. View this animation that shows the phases of Venus. So you're going to watch this animation. It's 12 seconds long. If you don't watch the full animation and you just try to click to the next page, then it won't give you credit for doing that. And it's only 12 seconds. So really just watch the animation. And then finally, Galileo's discovery shows that to an observer on Earth, Venus has phases just like Earth's moon. How did this observation provide support for the heliocentric model of the solar system, which is the model that the sun is in the center? The only explanation for the phases of Venus is that it revolves around the sun, being lit up differently as it moves compared to Earth. So Venus rotated around the sun just like Earth does. And that's the end of this interactivity. And like I said, as always, if you have any questions, just contact me.